Welcome in to the NFL preview show for Week 6 with Uncle Phil and Sticks. Uncle Phil, Sticks, how are you guys doing tonight?
Good. I used the wrong intro video for our Lock and Live, but ready to go. Instead I had Lock and Live instead of the NFL preview, but other than that, I am doing good. Sticks, it is good to see you again. Good to have you back. How you doing, brother?
Good to be here. I missed you the last couple of weeks, but excited to see what Week 6 has in store for us.
Yeah, super excited, man. It's been kind of a fun couple of weeks. We are ready to get after it. Matt, I think we're just going to jump right into it.
Get after it. I'll sit back with my popcorn and watch you guys talk ball for the next hour and a half or so.
There you go. I'm gonna remove you from stage. I'll bring you back on when we're getting close to the end. All right, buddy.
All right.
It is awesome to see you.
Awesome. To see you.
You know, I feel bad that we couldn't do last week. Last week was my fault that we couldn't get in, and that was my fault from a work standpoint. But because I knew last week was just absolutely going to be a bloodletting. I knew it. I had everything down. I saw the signs. Favorites had won 3 out of the 4 first weeks, and then but the very first week was a draw, 8-8 as far as favorites and underdogs. But the past 2-3 weeks, you know, Vegas was just setting you up. It's just setting you up for slaughter. And then last week, not only did 9 underdogs cover, but they won straight up. So that was the unbelievable thing about this week. A lot of people's survivor pools went to, well, there's always next year. So it was a tough week for that. But your Steelers got to just sit back and lay in the pool and kind of enjoy and see all the bloodletting. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they were relaxing. Looks like the rest was going to help us out and get at least Joey Porter back this week. I kind of like the break earlier in the season. Hopefully we can build some momentum and carry it through instead of choking at the end like we have recently.
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. For the first time since 2014, 11 years, we haven't had a team be 5-0. So really kind of an interesting thing that had happened. We only got 2 teams on byes this week. We've got Houston, Minnesota. So we've got 15 games and should be a lot of fun. I'm ready to get to it. How about you?
Let's do it. First matchup, we got Uncle Phil. We got Philly at the New York Giants. Philly's coming off a loss to Denver, lost their first game of the season. Denver's looking good. Defense is looking tough. And the Giants lost to the Saints. Saints actually put a W on the board. What's your guess for the line on this one, Phil?
Yeah, my guess on this one is I've got -7.5, and I've got 43.5, or I've got I always kind of do with the home team, so I'll say +7.5 for the Giants and 43.5. What say you?
So I was this one was tough right off the bat. Divisional matchup; those can always be closer than we thought. I was still Philly given 6. The actual was Philly given 7, and our total was 40.5.
40.5. Okay. Interesting there. Not expecting a lot of offense on that. But pace of play on both these teams is bottom third, so I kind of understand a little bit why. But also some playmakers are out. Obviously, Malik Neighbors is out for the season. The Giants, I was just looking at their injury report. Looks like Darius Slayton, wide receiver, is out. Interesting, although he came up with a full practice today, Jackson Dart popped up on the injury report with a hamstring, which was interesting to see. So, but again, a lot of people, let's see, out, a couple of linebackers for the Giants and for the Eagles. Couple of a couple people out for the Eagles, most notably guard Landon Dickerson, who got rolled up on in that game against Denver. Had to come out of the game, didn't finish the game. Not surprised he's out, especially on a short week. That's a big blow to an offensive line that's already struggling.
Yeah.
What is wrong with this Eagles offensive line? What's wrong with the offense? They're not the same. Saquon Barkley, I screamed last year when Nick Sirianni pulled Saquon out in the Giants game, in that final game last week, when he had a chance to break the record. I'm like, you only get one chance in your entire lifetime. You could be the NFL's all-time. Look, clearly they had bigger goals, but I mean, look, you got to give the man a chance. And clearly this year, it's a whole different mess. Tell me your thoughts on what's going on with that Eagles offense.
Yeah, I don't know, but they're not winning the battles in the trenches like they normally do. Saquon, like you said, he's not having the year he had last year, at least not yet. And what's going on with AJ Brown? I mean, he's been like a total non-factor this year.
Yeah, 100%. It really is that. I mean, it's and I think you nailed it on the head. It's like several things. It's like, it's like people aren't getting the touches that should get the touches. Saquon, I think last game only got eight touches the entire game. I mean, how does Saquon go through the game like that and not get that? I mean, he's got to have flashbacks. Feels like I think he got more touches when he's on the Giants, a little bit more than that. Like he kind of was the whole offense there, but it's different. But again, new offensive coordinator, Kevin Petula. It feels like that kind of squeeze season where in between Shane Steichen and Kellen Moore for the Eagles, where the offensive coordinator wasn't getting it there or wasn't getting it done and got relieved of his duties about week 10. And but again, that was kind of the year that they just kind of folded and kind of gave up and against Tampa Bay in the first round of the playoffs. Feels like something like that like now, unless they kind of get it going, but they're definitely not in sync. They're not running on first down. It's like they're in shotgun on first and second down. They're not using play action. They're not doing the things that they used to do, and certainly not getting Saquon his touches. And your point, not getting A.J. Brown his either. So just kind of an odd deal on what's happening on this one. It'll be interesting to see how it's going. I could certainly see both offenses struggling. Again, the Eagles had 29 different starting offensive lines last year, combinations. So they're certainly used to change. I mean, one person's not going to do it, but Landon Dickerson's a big piece for them, and to an offensive line and an offense in general that's already struggling. So it'll be interesting to see how this one turns out. I'm excited. Weather on this one, 51 clear, wind 5 miles an hour. Almost got to our first 40-degree game. So we're kind of counting down the deck. We're low.
The weather.
Look, past couple of days I've been in Minneapolis and was in Omaha. I don't know if you see it, but I'm repping my Rosenblatt Stadium jersey, a shirt in Omaha. I love Omaha, Miss Rosenblatt for those you college baseball fans. But anyway, you can feel the air, feel the chill in the air in Minneapolis this week. It was cool, starting to get that way in Omaha. In Minneapolis, you could feel the coolness, and in Minneapolis, it was just saying, it's like, okay, this is your warning. It's coming. If you show up next time, it's your own fault. So I love this weather. I love it. It's exciting for me. But let's move on, man. Any last thoughts on this game for you?
No, we'll see if Jackson Dart is playing or not. If Jackson Dart does play, I like Philly to still win, obviously, but I don't know about covering that 7. If Dart doesn't play and Russ comes back, and we know how fast he moves around, I think Philly will probably win and cover.
Well, here's an interesting little stat for this one. Philly is 3-2 against the spread this year. They have not covered at home both times, but they have covered all 3 times on the road. Sets up to where you are right now, your thoughts, but it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out, but just a little fun stat.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Next one, we got Denver at the Jets. Denver beat Philly last week. Jets lost to the Cowboys. What's your guess on this line, Uncle Phil?
Yeah, my guess on this one is I'll take again. I love 7.5. I'll take it again. I'll take 7.5, and I'll take 41.
So our actual was Denver laying 7.5. Our total was 43.5.
Okay, a little higher than I thought. This one, weather is 58, mostly cloudy, 5 miles an hour. So again, weather not a factor. I just kind of get in the habit of looking at it because in about a month it will be. So that's kind of exciting.
And this is the London game, yeah, 9:30 a.m.
Yeah, this is the London game. This is the 9:30. Thanks for pointing that out because, again, we've got international games for, I think, the next 4 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. So, man, those are just great days where you get to watch football all day long. It just is. I hear some people complain about the international games and like that. I'm like, man, more football, more cowbell, more football for me. I can't wait. I love it. This is an interesting game. Denver, it feels like they're kind of turning a corner. Sean Payton is 30-30 in September in his coaching career. But from October on, Sean Payton is 65% as far as win percentage. So, again, he puts everything together, puts a lot on his quarterbacks in September, and then you see them start turning the corner, and he rolls with what he's got from there out, and you can kind of feel that team kind of turn the corner. What do you see from this Broncos team?
I mean, great secondary, great D. Bo Nix, he's starting to look like Bo Nix. I don't think they're going to have a problem here with the Jets at all. The Jets are just.
What's going on, man? Tell me this. I want your opinion. Is Aaron Glenn on the hot seat after 5 games? I mean, this is the only team in NFL history that's gone 0-5 that has had 0 takeaways. And this is what I look at. When I look at teams, when I look at coaches and evaluate coaches, I go, can you get your side of the ball right? 2 things. Can you get your side of the ball right? And then the other thing I look at is that the team that you left, did your side of the ball, did it fall apart? And I look at Detroit's defense, and it almost looks better. Now, again, Detroit had a lot of injuries last year, especially on the defensive line, so maybe that's not fair. Now, all their injuries, Detroit is, we're going to get to that, but all their injuries are in the cornerback position in the secondary now. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. But, again, Robert Saleh had these individuals last year, and they were an unbelievable defense. Mm-hmm. And of course, Woody Johnson did what Woody Johnson does and fires him, and they're like a game out of first place. And of course, they just tank the rest of the year. And Jets being Jets, and it's ownership down. I've talked about this a lot. Teams get their feels from the ownership down, and when you have bad ownership, you typically don't have a good product. It's just like companies, right? Bad leadership typically is not going to translate in the business world. You're not going to filter it down. It's just frustrating. It leads to frustrating things, but it does the same thing in the NFL. And again, this team just seems disjointed. Justin Fields is just not accurate. It seems like potentially I've seen trade rumors about Breece Hall. I've seen trade rumors about fire selling things off. But again, your opinion, is Aaron Glenn on the hot seat even just after 5 games?
I think so. Just with it being the Jets, they've been on there hasn't been a good times. I mean, I can't even think of one right now. Maybe, since Chad Pennington was there. So, I think he has to be, and I think he's going to be on a real short leash, and that ownership's going to be quick to flip things again. And yeah, to your point, Phil, it is looking like, the talent on Detroit was making both those coordinators who left even I haven't been terribly impressed by Ben Johnson either this year. They put a couple wins up, but so yeah, Aaron Glenn surprises me. Great secondary guy, great cornerback when he was playing, and just can't get these guys to tackle. It's a shame.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, look, really nothing really to write home about. I mean, it's early in the season, not a lot of data, but right now, Denver's 2-3 against the spread. Jets are 2-2. No, they're 2-3 as well. 2-3. Both teams 2-3 against the spread. Nothing really definitive to kind of look at. There is something there though, and this kind of really goes to coaching. This is an interesting thing is that you look at one-score games, because one-score games typically, as I think, Bill Parcells, you say that more games are lost in the NFL than are won, right? Mm-hmm. And it's one-score games. You look at that, and that comes down to situational coaching, typically in those final 2 minutes, and what can you do to, give your team an advantage at that point as a coach, do that. Jets are 0-4 in one-score games. So, again, that's situational coaching. Aaron Glenn seems like a good guy, but just may not be ready for prime time. Certainly doesn't look like it right now.
Right. Next game we got, Uncle Phil, we got the Los Angeles Rams at the Baltimore Ravens. Rams lost last week to the 49ers, and the Ravens lost to the Texans, got blown out.
Yeah, I was going to wait for the commentary on that one because it wasn't just a simple loss. It was let's just go ahead and say it was an ass whooping.
Yeah, it was.
It was just a complete meltdown. It was, I don't know if that's a low point or will this weekend be the low point for them because, again, Lamar is going to be out. Then the bye week's the next week. It looks like that they're waiting to get healthy. But interestingly enough, I want to get your opinion on this. Well, first of all, I'm going to guess the line. My guess on this one is I'll take Rams 8.5, and I'll take 47.5.
Okay. The Rams were -7.5.
Okay.
Total is 44.5.
Okay, interesting. So a little bit lower than I thought it would be. Interesting. Well, watch the injury report, see if they get some people back. Baltimore is giving up the most points in the league. It just seems like a nonstop game. And if the Rams, coming off an extended rest from playing the Thursday night game, have a week and a half to get ready for this, should be good and healthy. I mean, they were healthy going into San Francisco, which is just an absolute crime. I mean, how they lost that game to San Francisco. McVay got out coached. And it wasn't even close. Shanahan's probably having one of his best coaching years as possible. But I felt like McVay kind of laid that one up and just thought, oh, this is going to be easy. Translated the team, and then talk about an ass whipping. They got whipped, and I mean, they got beat, and it was 23-20, I think, something like that. But regardless, you cannot do this. You cannot lose that game. You cannot lose at home. They were down so many players, than the 49ers, and then you get beat by that. McVay just did, I think potentially his worst coaching job as an NFL coach. I mean, it looked really, really, really bad. It was embarrassing, and it blew out a few of my survivor pools. So I'm a little survivor team, so I'm a little bit edgy about that. But it also blew almost 30% of the Circus Survivor picks out there out as well. So I know I'm not alone, but I've still got a couple I'm playing with, and we'll get after that. But in Baltimore, interesting enough, Baltimore is still the betting favorite. This ought to get into your skin. You know what I'm about to say.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
I'm say Baltimore is still the betting favorite to win the North, the AFC North. What is the lack of disrespect for the Steelers is just unprecedented. I just want to hear you just riff for about the next 20 minutes on how disrespected the Steelers are here.
I'd love to, but I don't take it personal because I think they're still the favorite for the Super Bowl. I saw something today that they're plus 700 or plus 650 or plus 700 for the Super Bowl. So they're still at the top of the list there too. So I don't know what's going on with that. I think this week, it helps a bit. It looks like Hamilton was practicing. He's going to play. Rams they're pass heavy. I think that'll help a little bit, but it's not going to be even close to enough. I mean, I think the Ravens are going to have to just hope that they can get through, these next couple games without losing anybody else, get everybody healthy, and then hopefully do well on the back half of the schedule when things get easier for them.
Yeah, makes total sense. So maybe potentially one more beat down and then go the bye week, get healthy. Last week, the bye week was what turned that team around on defense. They were near last on statistically on so many categories last year, especially on passing yards given up. This year, it's just almost every single one of the defensive categories. Matabuke going out. I mean, that's an issue for them. They stopping the run. They had Van Noy out for a while. He came back last week. But, again, secondary, they just put off a trade, was brother-to-brother trade, got a safety in from the Chargers. And you can see things going at John Harbaugh's got so much of a good track record. You expect them to do that. I expect that that when they come back to the bye, it's going to be a great buy low situation for them. I expect them. Will they lose by 8.5 to the Rams? I don't know. I don't really fully trust the Rams after last week's little shenanigans against San Francisco. But if the Rams are ever going to get right, they have an opportunity here, opportunity to steal a game that they probably thought, looking at the schedule the first of the season, may not have been a win, and get to steal one here. So an opportunity for them. This game, weather-wise, 55 chance of rain, 10 miles an hour. Again, not a big deal there. Looking at these teams, Rams are 3-2 against the spread. Baltimore is 1-4 against the spread, as you would expect. Baltimore hasn't covered this year against the spread except one team, and it was below 500 team. It was Cleveland. Everybody else they have not covered against. So be something to look at. But the Rams, of course, their trend is they've lost 2 in a row, haven't covered twice. One was that fluke blocked kick by I say fluke by the Eagles. But again, they had one blocked again last week against 49ers before I ramble on and pontificate more about that. But it just drives me absolutely bananas. And again, I'm still bitter, and I hold grudges when teams lose out of my survivor picks. I will hold grudges for years. Like year before that was Cincinnati. Year before that was Arizona. I can just go on and on and on for about the past 10 years when I get kicked out of Survivor. It was Chicago, and then it just drives me nuts. But neither here nor there. And life will continue to go on. Well, speaking of going on, let's move on.
You got it. Next one, we got Dallas Cowboys at Carolina. Cowboys beat the Jets last week. Carolina beat the Dolphins.
Man, I think these are two really interesting teams. I mean, look, I'll give you my guess. My guess is I have got Dallas minus 1.5, and I've got the total at 47.5.
Okay. Dallas is actually -3, and the total is 49.5.
Well, I'm not surprised about the total. I'm a little surprised about the spread, just because that would mean that Dallas neutral field would be -6, and then at home in Arlington they would be at -9. So it seems like a little rich there, kind of how I calculated it, but wouldn't be surprised. Carolina is well, let's just look at it. I mean, Carolina they're kind of good at home and bad on the road. So their 2 wins are at home, 3 losses are on the road. So could be. What do you think about these teams? I mean, I feel like Dallas, Dak clearly looks like his best shape of his career this year, looks a lot better shape. Schottenheimer, I had completely poo-pooed him in early in the season. I'm just like, Jerry used his fallback plan when McCarthy walked out the door and said, I don't want to come back. And so to this circus, and they did Schottenheimer instead. And I was just like, oh my gosh, the circus continues in Dallas. but Schottenheimer has surprised me. Has been a really imaginative, creative. I don't think as good as he's been. I still don't think he's getting the credit he deserves because he's been super creative. This Dallas team looks really good, except on defense. So I certainly understand the total being higher where it is. And Bryce Young. Can you give me your thoughts on these two teams and what you think of these two teams and where they are? And like, is Carolina, is this just kind of, or do they have a chance to making a move to where, I mean, they're not a playoff team, but are they going to be a team that can get close to 500? Or are they just going to be, we've seen the best of them where there are 2 games where they've won. The one good game where they whipped the Falcons and held them scoreless. I had the Falcons number. That's a whole different issue. But, and is Dallas, is there something to this Dallas team?
Yeah. I mean, Carolina, I'll use your word with the Rams, trust. I don't have any trust with Carolina. They're just a little too bipolar for me.
Right.
When Bryce Young's on his game, he can ball out. He can play.
Yeah.
But we just never know when he'll show up or not. Dallas, they've been consistently putting a lot of points on the board. And to me, Dak looks better than he almost ever has. I mean, he just looks like he's in great form. And, he's got George Pickens out there who's filled in nicely for CD being out. I mean, they really have
good
there,
George looks really good.
Yeah. He doesn't seem to be blowing up the locker room or,
No.
bringing anybody else down. So yeah, that's great. I think Dallas, just with the firepower, I think they'll even in Carolina, they're not going to have a problem with this one. I like Dallas to cover.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting game for sure. Dallas is kind of checking all the boxes. 1-score games, they are 1-1-1. It kind of feels like maybe that kind of season for them, that they'll probably be a 500 team just because of the defense.
Yeah.
Be amazing what this team could be if they just had an edge rusher, right?
Oh, how about it? They used to have a good one.
Whole different deal.
All right. Next game, we got Cardinals at Indy. Cardinals lost last week to the Titans. Titans got their first win. Colts beat the Raiders. They gave them a whooping. What do you think for that line?
Yeah, I've got Indianapolis 5.5, and I've got it 47.
Actual line, Indy is laying 7, and our total is 46.5.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just not surprised. I mean, Indianapolis, put the whipping on Las Vegas last week. It was certainly one of my best bets, and one that just came through in flying colors for us. So that was a really good one. Arizona, I just can't. I think we come back to this whole thing, trust. And do you trust Arizona? Do you trust Kyler Murray? Because some games it looks like he wants to run and be super involved. In other games, he's just not going to run, and he's just going to throw it and that. And I don't really get him. I mean, it's first half Carolina comes out strong, and maybe this is an advantage. Arizona has scored 60 points in the first half, 39 in the second half. It's and they really kind of, I don't know if it's the halftime adjustments or just when they get off script. First half is more scripted, and they kind of stick to that. And the second half, they're just not a team. It's just not a good team. A good team, and a lot of times they're going in with a lead in the second half, and they just can't put teams away. And I think Kyler Murray said a couple of games ago, he goes, "Hey, we did this," and he goes, after week 2, he's like, "Well, we've been doing okay, but hadn't bit us in the ass yet. But well, guess what? It just bit you in the ass, and teams that had you, or people that had you in their survivor leagues, bit them in the ass too. So, congratulations, thank you very much, Kyler. Once again, you figured out multiple ways to disappoint the people of America again. So, I don't have a whole lot of thoughts. What do you think is going? How do you think this game's going to turn out with the spread? I would imagine this line is creeping up a little bit, and probably for good reason. What do you think?
I was high on Arizona at the start of the season.
Same.
Yeah, they've had some flashes, but some disappointments too. It seems like every game for Arizona this year, the line is 7. Either they're giving 7 or getting 7. I'd be interested to know what they're doing against the spread over the first few games here. Having said that, I think they have some internal problems going on, between coaching and players. And, I think we're going to see the repercussions from that this week. Indy's seemingly firing on all cylinders. I like Indy.
Well, it's hard not to. Arizona is 1-4 against the spread. Indianapolis is 4-1 against the spread. I mean, it just comes down to coaching, quarterback play, consistent quarterback play, roster makeup, the whole thing. I mean, look, Arizona, no doubt's got some challenge. The Bidwells are very cheap. They're kind of like Cincinnati. Nobody gets upset with them as much because it's Kyler and not Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow is one of the best. And they're like, Joe Burrow really cares and Kyler kind of halfway doesn't care. So people don't really get enraged about Michael Bidwell. But I mean, very cheap owner. Arizona doesn't put as much in their team as they probably could. One of those teams who typically take from the concessions, ticket sales, and don't put as much back in. But the owners live a nice life, and if they win something, it's okay, and if they don't, it's not bad either. But again, good team, not great. Just again, difference between good and great's consistency, and the Cardinals just haven't shown that. Right now, it seems like they're consistently bad.
Yeah. All right, we got Seattle at Jacksonville last week. Seattle lost a close one to Tampa. Jags beat the Chiefs in a nail biter. What a game that was!
Unbelievable.
Two great performances. Seattle lost, Jacksonville won. But what do you think for a line on this one?
Yeah, my guess on this one is I'll guess 2.5 with Jacksonville, and I'll put a total at 45.
The Jags are given 1.5. Our total's 47.5.
Interesting. Weather on this one, 75 clear, 10 miles an hour. Again, just really, really nice weather. I don't know. What do you think about Jacksonville? I mean, is Jacksonville, are they sustainable? I mean, because Trevor Lawrence has one of the lowest completion rates in the NFL, and it's their defense that are getting these takeaways. Again, got another one. But again, their linebacker is the one who's got it, and their linebacker actually leads the NFL in interceptions with 3. And that is, to me, it feels like a linebacker leading the NFL in interceptions. That's not sustainable. And so it'll be interesting to see. I feel like they kind of caught Kansas City also. Even though I called this game right, this was the one that I'd put out. I'd had Jacksonville +3 on this one. It was more of the spot, but it feels like Kansas City's turning. Maybe the last team that wants to play Kansas City in a while. Like Kansas City's kind of becoming Kansas City, but Jacksonville, what are your thoughts on this team? I mean, Trevor Lawrence, again, lowest completion percentage. He's having 2 delay of games. Is constantly getting the clock down to the very end. I mean, I don't know if it's logistics things about not getting the play in, which is causing him to do that, or him just not situational awareness, not getting the clock, or getting the clock to where it's and not being. But even on the final drive, he had to delay a game, which is just absurd. And then he drops one in the bucket with Brian Thomas about 40 yards down the field, and you're like, that's the Trevor what I was getting right out of college.
That play was unreal.
Yeah. So whole thing. What do you think? Are the Jags for real, or is this 4-1, or you're like, this is real or fool's gold?
I do think the Jags are for real. I think that last game, did change my mind on that some. But as good as the rest of the team is, or at least as they're looking, the linchpin is Trevor Lawrence, and I just don't know that he's going to consistently play like that throughout the year. He does seem to shoot himself in the foot at the worst times. So, like I told you before, I'd be really surprised if they make the playoffs.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to do, things that we all care about. Seattle's 3-2 against the spread. Jacksonville is 4-1 against the spread. So people constantly doubt them. Nobody believes in them, but yet they continue to cover the spread at a very high rate. I mean, they're 4-1 as a team. They're 4-1 against the spread. Oddly enough, cover the spread against Carolina, Houston, and at San Francisco, and home against Kansas City. Only team they didn't cover the spread against was on the road against Cincinnati, which was, yeah, I know, right? But anyway, so that's kind of the interesting team. We'll see how that goes. I will say this: I do like Liam Cohen, the best of the Jags coach. I feel like, to me, because I kind of didn't think Dan Campbell had a great opening press conference with the biting the kneecaps, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's a clown," and he's just saying stuff. And then all of a sudden, Dan Campbell became this great coach, right? He's like, you've got Aaron Glenn as the or not the Aaron Glenn, but I can't think of the guy's name. The Aaron Glenn's obviously the coach for the Jets, but the GM for the Lions. But anyway, he's obviously assembled a great roster, done a tremendous amount of things. But regardless, really good. But I feel like Liam Cohen had the whole thing with the Duval.
Yeah.
Duval, and so had that kind of thing. But again, he's turned out to be a really good coach, and I think hopefully what Trevor needed. I am looking forward. I've been just clutching very tightly my rookie autograph card of Trevor Lawrence, and hope one day that he'll actually turn into somebody that is worth keeping. But I'm going down the ship with that one. What do you think about this game? How do you think it's going to turn out?
With how Seattle looked last week, even with the loss, ever since they beat my Steelers, I wasn't thinking much of Seattle before then, but I've changed my tune on them as well. I like Seattle to make the long trip in, and give me Seattle and 1.5.
Can't blame you for that. It's a very interesting game on this one. There were, nothing at all surprised me about this past week. As many upsets there were, nothing surprised me. I really thought all those had a chance of being complete upsets and actually win outright. There were a couple games I had on my personal account. I played Jags money line. I played New England money line. So I had that one on those two. I had lots of underdogs this week. Just felt like that was going to do. But the thing that surprised me, there were two surprises for me this week. One, the Rams laying an egg at home versus San Francisco. The other thing is that Seattle's vaunted defense getting shredded at home. Like, how does
38 points? Yeah.
How does that happen? I mean, Mike McDonald, he literally took the Ravens defense with him, and this is the Ravens defense, and they should just be phenomenal, but absolutely got shredded against Tampa. And maybe that's a Baker. Baker is certainly right now MVP level. We'll talk about that. Emeka Egbuka. Just go ahead and cash that ticket right now for Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's outstanding. But we should have known this, right? Because like every year it goes to an Ohio State guy.
Yeah.
And, every year Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to, or Rookie of the Year goes to Ohio State guy. Emeka Egbuka certainly fits in that, well-deserving as we turn the third of the way through the season right now.
All right, we got the Chargers at the Dolphins. Chargers lost another one, lost to the Commanders last week, and Dolphins lost to Carolina.
Two interesting teams. They've got a team that's completely beat up in the Chargers versus the Dolphins, where the coach looks like he's just been beat up. I mean, I don't think he could. I don't think Mike McDaniel could hang his head further down than he does. I mean, it's sad at this point. I mean, it looks really, really bad.
He looks defeated.
Really does. It almost kind of put him out of his misery and let him go, because he just needs a fresh start. They need a fresh start. But again, I think it's organizational. I don't know that anybody can do anything with this offensive line. I mean, you've got to draft an offensive line. You can't just have the speedboats on the outside and not have the big tugboats in the middle. And you just you got to have something to do that. My guess on this game is I've got the Chargers 2.5 and 43.5.
Actual line, the Chargers are laying 4.5, and our total is 44.5.
Hard for me to get behind that. Not say that I'm about to put good money on the Dolphins, but it's because I'm not. But it's hard for me to get behind that with the Chargers so banged up right now. I mean, 4.5, that'd mean 7.5, that'd mean 10.5 at home. Not to say they couldn't cover it, not to say the Dolphins wouldn't just lay down and do that, but the Chargers just seem really beat up right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be back better when they get Joe Alt back, but he's not coming back yet. Yeah. And they just seem, Marion Hampton went down. He just went to the IR. Just looks like a kind of a rough start for them. That's going
to be huge. No Najee, no Marion Hampton, no tackles. I mean, who's going to run besides Herbert?
Yeah. Herbert is leading the leagues in quarterback hits right now. Mm-hmm. He is on pace. He is on pace right now with Andrew Luck of getting that category. That kind of puts things really in perspective, right? I mean, you do not want to be in that category. So for me, weather-wise, 83, slight chance of thunderstorms, 6 mile an hour wind, typically Miami weather. How do you see this game playing out?
The Finns still have a little bit of a defense, that's probably the strong point. Tua can still throw the ball. So I like the Finns to, give me the Finns and 4.5 points.
Just seems like a lot of points, right?
It does.
Against a beat up Chargers team.
Yeah.
But again, you're asking America to put their hard-earned money on the Finns. The Finns, I will say this, the Finns are looks like they are 2-3 against the spread. So, somewhat respectable.
Mm-hmm.
1-2 in one-score games. Chargers are 3-2 against the spread, 2-1 against, difference between good and great, right? That's just a separation. That one game matters. And the Chargers, hopefully they can get back healed up again and become a playoff team, because look, you want to see Herbert kind of fulfill his destiny as well, and do that. So anyway, we'll see. Any other final thoughts before we move on from this one?
That's all I got for that one.
Yep.
Next we got Cleveland at Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Browns lost to the Vikings in London last week. Steelers are coming off a bye.
Steelers' spirit's got to be really high right now, right? I
think it's feeling pretty good in Pittsburgh. Yeah,
got to be. Again, Pittsburgh, nice Pittsburgh weather, 53 degrees, slight chance of showers, 5 miles an hour wind. I'm guessing on this one. My guess is I'll take Pittsburgh minus 7.5, and I'll put a total at 39.
Wow, you're generous. Pittsburgh's laying 5.5. Our total is 37.5.
Dylan Gabriel did not impress me last week.
Yeah. I mean, they kept it close, but
I think he's an upgrade from Flacco, because at least he can move, right?
Right.
What are the Browns doing? I mean, what is Cincinnati? We'll get to that. I can't even get to that. Let's can't even go there now. But I mean, Are you surprised the line's only 5.5 for Cleveland? Or do you think it's just because it's going to be considered a low scoring game because this Cleveland defense is going to do it? Is that what you see or what?
I mean, typically Cleveland and Pittsburgh, it's always pretty close. We have a harder time.
Divisional game.
Yeah, we have a much harder time in Cleveland, but I think,
Yes.
I think we're going to have it no problem in the Berg. Getting Joey Porter back. Jalen Warren should be playing this week. Kenneth Gainwell played good last game. Things are starting to come together.
Feels like Pittsburgh's starting to get an identity.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they've had that in a while, at least offensively. Now, I feel like defensively they've always kind of had an identity, but I don't feel like they've had one in recent years offensively. But I felt like Gainwell is able to do that. Rodgers is able to do what he's doing. I feel like they have an identity now.
Yeah. I mean, the connection with Metcalf and Rodgers seems to be solidifying a bit.
Right.
That looked good. TJ's playing again. I mean, there really wasn't a defensive identity at the beginning of the year. I mean, the defense was non-existent. Giving up 30 plus points or whatever it was. So, I think Pittsburgh's going to handle the Brownies okay this weekend. I like Pittsburgh -5.5. No problem. Give me Pittsburgh.
Seems a reasonable take. It'd be hard for me to disagree with it on that one. I mean, Cleveland seems to play good at home and bad on the road. Pittsburgh seems to kind of come into their own right now. I mean, we will see. All these divisional games, like you said, are a little bit different. The line is a little different than I thought it would be. And it's and 2 points is a big deal for me to be off on something. So 2 point spread. I'm at 7.5 and they're at 5.5. Makes me kind of feel like Vegas knows something that I don't, and that because I kind of felt the same way as you. It kind of felt like Pittsburgh handled this. Pittsburgh's 2-0 against the spread their last two, as well as one. Cleveland is struggling. Looks like they just they're selling the farm. Got rid of Kenny Pickett. Got rid of Joe Flacco, and hey, let's just roll with these rookies and let's just see how bad we can be. So let's get the number one pick. I don't know what's happening.
My one fear with this one is that, I'm hoping the Browns, are a little bit jet lagged coming back from London.
It's a tough turn. Pittsburgh gets the week off and Cleveland's got to go right back to work.
That's right. But, I just don't want the Steelers to come out of the gate slow. A little bit of a hangover after the bye.
Right.
As long as that doesn't happen, because if the Browns put some points on the board quick, and then Myles Garrett, is disruptive and makes your day bad, they could lose. But I don't think that's going to happen.
It would have to take some fluke plays, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, as much as I know you'd like to spend the next hour on Pittsburgh, we'll kind of move on.
You got it. New England at New Orleans. Pats, great game, beat the Bills. Wow, that was electric. And the Saints got their first win over the Giants. What are you thinking with New England and New Orleans?
Yeah, obviously a dome, so no weather. I've got this one at I'll take New England -2.5, and I'll put a total at 45.
Pats are -3.5. Our total is 45.5.
Okay, so kind of close to what I thought it'd be. Now a 1-4 team in New Orleans, I've been really impressed with what Kellen Moore has done with his team because they have showed fight, they've showed heart, they've been scrappy. Spencer Rattler is better than he was last year. He's much improved. And congratulations, Spencer Rattler and the entire New Orleans quarterback team, because the entire quarterback team for the Saints had 0 wins in the NFL. Now they have one thanks to Spencer Rattler. Congratulations to them. And I like this team. Any chance New England comes in a little overhyped and or a little uh, emotional win over that on Sunday night, and then comes in a little lethargic in this game?
It's not feeling like that to me. I think New England's going to be good. I like New England a lot. Drake May seems like the real deal. Well-coached team. They have a true shutdown corner. I think New England. I think New England's got this one.
Yeah. Interesting thing. New England 3-2 against the spread. When they win, they cover. When they don't win, they don't cover. So if you think they're going to win, trend says that they're going to cover. However, that being said, New Orleans against the spread are 2-3, but right now, all their losses have been to teams that have been above 500. And so they're used to playing good teams right now. And that's what gave me hesitancy last week against the Bills. That's why I chose New England, is that I didn't think the Bills had played anybody. I thought, obviously, the Bills played the Ravens at first, should have gotten beat. Baltimore literally fumbled the game against away. Felt like Harbaugh kind of choked at that game instead of going for it, punted the ball away, gave the ball back to Josh Allen, and dared him to beat him at home. And of course, that's exactly what he did. But I like this New Orleans team. I think they're scrappy and they're kind of fun to watch. And I think that they're kind of a point spread killer. We'll see. I think that this will be an interesting game and see how this turns out. But I like your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, New Orleans, I think they lost their title as the worst team in football. And they're on
Who is your worst team? Tell me your worst. Tell me your best. Give me your top two worst or top bottom two worst, top two best.
I'll probably say worst Titans and Cincinnati. Best probably Tampa. Tampa's one of them for sure. Probably Tampa and Detroit.
Yeah, I think those are bad picks. I mean, to me, it's really easy. I think I kind of zero in on who's the worst right now, and I'm with you on Cincinnati. Cincinnati is just an abomination right now, right? Although they did play better in the second half against the Lions, it was proud they didn't give up. Defense looked better, much better than they did even on a short week after just getting demolished the Monday night before. But I'll differ you from the Titans. I'll go with the Jets. Just because they're 0-5 and they just are reaching historically bad levels right now with the lack of stats they're putting up, and how this team is going along. And they just seemingly just don't have much of a prayer right now. As far as best teams, it's hard for me to do this. I feel like this is going to be the year that you can have like a Tampa Bay, Denver, Tampa Bay, I mean, who knows? I mean,
Steelers,
New England. I mean, you know who gets hot. I mean, Indianapolis. I'll say Tampa Bay, Indianapolis. How about that for a Super Bowl? I mean,
that would be incredible.
It would be incredible, right?
Yeah.
Because I think Indianapolis, people still don't give. I never really put out top 10 lists gone week to week. But I think I may start just because I see some of these top 10 lists out there and I feel like they're a joke. People constantly leave Indianapolis off their top 10 lists. I didn't think Indianapolis has got a good team. This is not smoke and mirrors. Indianapolis has got a good roster. They've got an excellent head coach in Shane Steichen. He was always considered this top line head coach. He just had crappy quarterbacks. And now he's got a quarterback. Now you've got Daniel Jones, which to me feels like Daniel Jones going back to Indianapolis is that Daniel Jones to me feels like, do you remember how last year that Joe Shane was tied to Saquon? You know, that was his albatross around his neck. I feel like Daniel Jones is Brian Daboll's Saquon now. That he's the albatross, because Daboll is this great play caller, this great quarterbacks coach, and yet he couldn't make Daniel Jones work, and yet he's working in Indianapolis under Shane Steichen.
Yeah. Well, I'll throw one more wild card in there. Did you see the stat on Thursday night? San Francisco, the last 3 times they were 4-1, they went to the Super Bowl.
Really?
Under Kyle Shanahan.
Look, it is amazing what San Francisco looks like now that they have a defense again. Robert Saleh didn't take them to take Shanahan along to exit stage right. The old defensive coordinator, I think it's Steve Wilkes. I can't remember his name, but they edged I think he was old Cardinals, but he may have been the same. Anyway, regardless, exit him stage right. Saleh, come on down, and brought him back. And Saleh has just got this defense just unbelievable. What helps when McVay, that 4th down play with, I'm still bitter. So help me work. This is my therapy. I'm working through that Rams game. But again, that play that McVay called to run that 4th down, that generic, you're like, are you just totally shitting me? This is your best play. This is what you spent a timeout on, and you came up with. We're just going to run up the middle, and San Francisco selling out, because that formation they had run 4 times already before that night. I mean, that same night they had run it 4 times, and each time they picked up at least a yard. So San Francisco's got iPads, they've got computers over there. They've got these Microsoft tablets over there. They see those formations. Okay, they see this. We're going to sell out and do this. And on the 5th time, they got them. I'm like, that was the perfect opportunity. If you're this McVay, you're this offensive genius, this supposed creative mind. I don't care if you memorize the phone book. I know you've got a photographic memory. Well, why don't you remember that you ran the play 4 times already and you're going to run it the 5th time? Are you just too smart for the room? You think Shanahan couldn't figure that out? You think Saleh couldn't figure that out? His whole team sold out for that, saw the formation, sold out, stopped them. I just can't believe it. But again, San Francisco, this defense is leading them. And who is better to you? Is Brock Purdy better or Mac Jones?
Mac Jones. I mean, I know it's a what have you done for me lately, but even when Brock Purdy was in prime form, I've never been a huge Brock Purdy fan. Mac Jones has looked really good. I know it's Purdy's job when he comes back, but wow, it's too bad.
That's who Shanahan wanted to begin with. That's who he wanted to draft. He wanted Mac Jones, and now he's finally got him. So, the old Reunited song, Reunited, feels so good. So they're absolutely so happy, and they're happy together. And it certainly shows. Mac Jones looks great. Certainly has matured since his San Francisco days or his New England days. It looks like the quarterback that he thought he always could be. At the podium, says all the right things. Sounds like the guy. Sounds like a mature guy. You just go to McVay or Shanahan or even Kevin O'Connell, and you get rehabbed as a quarterback, and you get spit right back out, whether you're Donald, whether you're Daniel Jones, whether you're Baker Mayfield, and now it looks like potentially Mac Jones. I think he's going to earn himself some money in the offseason.
I think so. I love his demeanor. The guy's a class act. Brock seems like a great guy too, but Mac Jones.
100%. Agreed.
Yeah, he's really impressed me this year.
Yep.
All right. We got the Tennessee Titans at the Las Vegas Raiders.
The battle of 1-4s.
Yeah. Titans coming off a win over the Cardinals. Raiders are coming off the loss to the Colts.
I've got this one at – I thought this would be kind of a give-up line. I thought Vegas -3, and I got a total at 43.
So the Raiders are -4.5. Our total's 41.5.
Wow. Interesting. Are you surprised that the Raiders are favored by 4.5?
Not really.
Are they that much better than the Titans? I mean, it's a loser leave town match.
Yeah, it's
it is. It's like, somebody's coming off the top rope and somebody's leaving town. Somebody's getting their head shaved. Somebody's loading up the boot. It's going to be just somebody is walking this game and didn't think they could feel worse about themselves, and somebody's going to go home and feel worse about themselves.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee's got Cam. Your point to the Jets being a worse team,
right?
And now statistically, they definitely are.
Yep.
But in my mind, the Jets still have some good. They got some good players. It's still a better team. And Tennessee has Cam. So he's young and getting a feel for things. So I don't think Tennessee's probably going to win more than 3 games this year. I don't think
Vegas going to win.
Maybe 4.
Okay. Well, this could be the pivotal match between who wins 3 and who wins 4. It'd be interesting to see. We're not going to spend a ton of time on it. Obviously, in Vegas, it's a dome, so no weather there. Both teams, Tennessee's a little bit better, 2-3 against the spread, slightly better, where Vegas is 1-4. I still can't get over that how Vegas actually beat New England at New England the very first game of the season, which is an odd deal. But anyway, we'll let it roll there. And New England would be 4-1 had it not been for that loss to the Raiders.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a money line game, or see where all the money's at and go with the other team.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
All right, San Francisco at Tampa. As we said, 49ers beat the Rams last week. Bucks beat the Seahawks. What do you think our line is, Uncle Phil?
Yeah, such a fascinating game. I think probably the game of the week for me, at least so far. I mean, because you've got, again, just the opposite of the Tennessee-Las Vegas game where you had 2 1-4 teams. This time you have 2 4-1 teams play each other. Both look just outstanding last week. This one's 77 clear, 8 miles an hour, as it should be in Tampa this time of year. My guess on this one is that, again, it comes right down to a pick 'em on a neutral field. I'll say Tampa -3, and I'll put a total on this one at 45.
The Bucks are, in fact, laying 3. Our total's 47.5.
Interesting. A little higher than I thought, but, not surprised with Tampa Bay being able to score on that, and their defense just not holding in check, not playing as well as years past as they have on that. What are your thoughts on this game?
They both have been looking good. I think I still got to go with Baker, though. For now, he's so clutch. He just, he gets it done when he needs to. San Fran, I mean, overcoming the injuries and playing well, but yeah, give me Tampa. I'll lay the points.
Man, I love this game. Both teams are against the spread 3-2, but there's an edge I see, and this game may end up being one of my best bets because I absolutely love this spot for one of the teams, and I'll save that till Sunday. But I love this game. Okay. There's already been 3 or 4 games that I already love, or I think this makes the 4th, but this is definitely one of those games I love.
Well, just text it to me then, because I don't know if I'll be able to wait till Sunday.
Yeah, we'll be excited. I got to tell somebody. I'm going to tell you. Always, man.
All right, man. Cincy at Green Bay. Bengals lost to the Lions. Green Bay's coming off a bye.
Okay. I have got, good Lord, Cincinnati and Green Bay. Well, let's see. I put Green Bay -15, and I put a total at 45. How far off am I?
You're right there. I mean, it's
really
it's all the points. It's the Packers are laying 14. Our total's 44.5.
Okay.
it's so many points.
It is a lot of points, but Cincinnati, I mean, let's go to it now. I mean, I put a tweet out or a post out on X, no tweet since there's no Twitter, right? But I put a post out on X where I said did Cincinnati actually get worse by getting Joe Flacco? And I'm like, I don't see the upside there. You trade a young quarterback who has got at least some mobility, but who's throwing 2 or 3 interceptions a game versus a quarterback who's got zero mobility, who's old, got zero mobility, and is a statue. I mean, it's a statue back there, and also throws 2 or 3 interceptions a game. Tell me, what do you see? What's the play here? Why do you? And he's already been announced a starter for this week.
Wow, I didn't know if that would happen that quickly.
Yeah.
I just don't understand the strategy. What are we trying to do with Flacco? Because if they think Flacco's going to come in and keep things close enough, and then Burrow's going to come back in time and then still save the season off that kind of injury, I don't see that at all.
This is a dumpster fire. It's not the quarterback, it's the offensive line. This may be the worst offensive line that Cincinnati's ever had, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awful.
Yeah.
Zach Taylor on a hot seat?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Really?
No.
Why don't you think so?
I don't know how much of the personnel decisions were his. I mean,
they didn't fire Lou Anarumo last year, and he's gone to Indianapolis. Of course, Indianapolis has got a top 10 defense, so not the problem.
Right.
And there's no other coordinator to fire this year. So, I mean, I don't know. But
I just don't think you can put it on them this year, because they were going into the season thinking, hey, Burrow is going to do this for us, not on his own. He's got some great receivers, but for the most part, we're just banking on Burrow, and then he goes, and it's like, that's all she wrote. So I don't know. I have to think they're going to give him another year with a healthy Joe Burrow. But for this week, geez, I mean, as much as I hate those big lines like that, you got to think. I think under these circumstances, I could.
I couldn't go against you on that one.
It seems like Vegas is trying to scare people away with that line, and it's they're probably going to win by at least 21. Yeah,
look, they tried to scare me away last week with 10.5 at Cincinnati, and I wouldn't do it with Detroit. So I jumped both feet. I was on both feet, all on 10.5, and it certainly paid off for me. But anyway, all right, we'll move on.
All right, our Sunday night game.
Yep.
Detroit at KC. Lions beat the Bengals. KC lost to the Jags. What's our line, Uncle Phil?
Well, this clearly is the game of the week, right? We talked about 4-1 San Francisco, Seattle. That's the game during the daytime.
Well, but unless San Francisco and Tampa Bay isn't.
Yeah. I mean, that's the game, right? I mean, not Seattle, but San Francisco, Tampa Bay. I mean, that's the game, right? I mean, these two are the games. Be super interesting on this one. I have got Kansas City 2.5, and I've got a total. It's a little light, but I hate putting things in the 50s, but I put it at 49.5.
Mm-hmm. Chiefs are given 2.5. Our total's 52.5.
Okay, so it is in the 50s. I was kind of afraid of that, but that it would be. Interesting game. 67 degrees.
Would you be liking the over more if it wasn't in the 50s?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, I will. It's kind of like the consumer purchasing, man. When you put something at like a 9, like a 99, whole different between 99 and 100. you know, and you're like, I'll buy it at 99.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll buy it at 49. You start getting the 50, like, I don't know if I see as much value there, even though it's a couple points, but it's just a psychology thing
Sure.
for me. But I do think this game's interesting. Just quickly with the weather, 67 degrees, slight chance of thunderstorms, 7 miles an hour. So again, nothing really to be to write home about. Detroit's 4-1 against the spread. Kansas City is 2-3 against the spread. Just exactly like their record. So if they win, they cover. If they don't win, they don't cover. Kansas City's favored. Will they win? And by happenstance, will they cover? What do you think?
I don't think so. I like Detroit to come in and take this one. After they got pounded by, was it Green Bay, the first game of the year?
Yeah.
They've
kind of been a machine since then, right?
They really have. And again, not missing those coordinators, thought maybe there was 2 huge losses and they've just looked awesome. So I like Detroit to go into Arrowhead and take this one.
Yeah, look, man, it should be a heck of a game. I think it's interesting to see how this goes. Xavier Worthy still looked a little gimpy from got there and gutted out against Jacksonville. Be interesting to see if he's any healthier this week, how that's going. Kansas City, once they get Rashee Rice back and get Xavier Worthy healthy, a little bit of a problem. Like, I know for a fact that Jacksonville's game plan walking in that they were going to try to force Mahomes to roll to his left because he's not statistically not as accurate, but they couldn't do it. And there's just not a whole lot you can do against Mahomes. He is what he is. He's kind of a one-of-one type thing. Yeah. But this Detroit team's kind of a one-on-one as well. So I certainly see what you're talking about. This should be a fun game. I hate to, the song, of course, on Sunday night. We've been waiting all day for Sunday night. I've been waiting all week for Sunday night. I can't wait to see this game.
Yeah, it'll be a good one.
Yeah.
That takes us just to our last 2. We have 2 Monday Night Football games.
Right. Why do we put 2 games on Monday night?
I don't get it.
I mean, the NFL does everything right. This one they get wrong every single time. Why put 2 games on Monday night? I feel like it's a bad product. Why do you do that?
It is. Sometimes it's hard enough for me to stream 1 game a night, let alone 2. So Buffalo at Atlanta is our first one at 7:15. Bills coming off that big loss to the Pats. Falcons coming off a bye. What are you thinking for a line?
Look, I've got the Bills -2.5, and I've got a total at 47.5.
I like that. Actually, Bills are laying 4.5. Our total is 49.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, it means Bills are a 10.5-point favorite if they were playing at Buffalo. It just seems like a lot of points. 50, I can kind of get around a little bit, but again, I like it better at 49. But the whole thing. That's an interesting thing. I mean, Atlanta, of course, like you said, is coming off a bye, right? So. But in a bye, can you get Penix more accurate? Because it just seems like he can completely spin it, but just is not very accurate.
Yeah.
Buffalo, how will they react after their loss? I mean, because they've been, they should have gotten beat by Baltimore and cut it very, very close until the very end with Miami. So, and then to borrow Kyler Murray's words, it bit them in the ass.
Yeah,
it's New England. So, that's an interesting thing. How do you see this game playing out?
This one, I have a little bit of an emotional attachment with the Falcons. They were another team I was kind of high on at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Drake London, Bijan, they got some awesome players, but Buffalo, I forgot the exact stat, but I don't think they've lost 2 games in a row in a minute. I think it's been a long time since they've lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, that's certainly a good stat.
Uh,
Both teams kind of up and down with covering. Bills 2-3 against the spread. Atlanta's 2-2 against the spread. Not much there to kind of grab a hold to. Oddly enough, the Bills haven't covered in 3 straight games.
Yeah, and if they're 2-3 against the spread, the 4.5 is a little weird. That's a weird number to me in this one. So if this was a game I just absolutely had to bet on, it'd probably be the Buffalo money line or the over.
Atlanta's 2-2. Oddly enough, losing both games in division, but winning both games out of division. At Minnesota and Washington, and losing at home to Tampa Bay and at Carolina, and just an absolute blowout.
Yeah, the Carolina game that's the anomaly. That's the one that really, because they got smoked. Was it 30-0 or something?
Yeah, just crushed. Absolutely, it's the exact score it was. So if Atlanta's going to rise up, which is of course their slogan, right? If Atlanta's going to rise up, this has to be the game for them, right? I mean, because they're going to be taken serious as a team. If not, this is it. And if they can't win this one, then this is just simply Tampa Bay's division to lose, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they win and walk. So this is it, and it's Monday Night Football. So you're off a bye, Monday Night Football. Freaking rise up or drop the slogan, because I'm tired of hearing it.
And you know me, home dogs should win on Monday night. So we'll see.
Should prime time. I don't know how many primetime games Atlanta has this year, but I doubt it's very many. This may be their chance, right? Because that's one of the reasons why I took Jacksonville last week. Jacksonville had no other primetime games this entire year. That was their only chance to play on Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night. Was that night? It was their only time they got. They've got a London game, of course, which is kind of prime time, but it's prime time in London, not really in the States. But it is. But that was their shot, and so. If you have those one-off games where it's their prime time, you can see those dogs rise up. And if they're going to rise up, they're going to do it. If they're not, you're dead to
me. I'd be more critical of the matchmakers for, stuff like Jets and Dolphins on Monday night. But there's
like
been some great games. I'll let it slide. Our second game of Monday night, Chicago at Washington. Bears are coming off a bye. Commanders, big win over the Chargers. What are you liking here, Phil?
I'm going to take Washington 3.5, and I'm going to take them at 47.
Yeah, Commanders are -4.5. Our total's 49.5. Okay. Another 49.5.
I'll buy. Give me 49.5, and I'll take it. So, look, this should be a fun game on this one. What are your thoughts on this game?
I think Jaden's back. I think the Bears are still a wild card, and I don't mean that by a wild card playoff team. I just mean week to week, I don't really know what's coming. Washington, the 4.5 in this Monday night game is not as strange to me as the 4.5 in the Buffalo game, oddly enough. So. I think Washington's too much for Chicago at home. Washington comes away with this one pretty easy.
Will be interesting to do, right? I mean, this is where, again, Chicago coming off a bye. What did they work on? How, this is how you see good coaches. Good coaches make use of the bye, and they're like, oh, okay. That's a good coach, because all of a sudden the team plays better off of a bye. And so I'm really, really curious about how Ben Johnson is going to take this team, and they're going to play them off of a bye, and how this is actually going to go. So will Chicago be a better team off the bye than they were? They're just going to still be the same Chicago team that went off a bye that just had a couple weeks off. But so we'll see how that one plays out. So to me, I'm super curious about this one.
I mean, we know Ben Johnson's a talented guy, and Chicago's got, definitely a lot of talent on that team. But am I imagining things, or does the chemistry, the Ben Johnson's culture, it just doesn't seem to gel, those two. Something seems off there to me.
Yeah, I mean, their styles are different, right? Ben Johnson's like, hey, play within my formula. Caleb is more off script, right?
Yeah.
He's more of an artist. Ben Johnson's more of a scientist. Like, hey, he's creative, right? But he's like, play within my creative scheme. And Caleb's like, no, I want to play within my creative scheme. And it's a little bit more. So, look, I think both of them, if they can somewhere kind of meet in the middle, can probably pull this off. But if one of them get too rigid about it, then it's not going to work. And Caleb certainly doesn't have a track record that Ben Johnson does. And Caleb, in my opinion, should lean more toward Ben Johnson because he did it his way last year and it didn't work. Right. So that's certainly my opinion. Look, this is going to be should be kind of a fun game. I think these are actually going to be two really good Monday night games. Yeah. I just wish that they weren't both on at the same time. Yeah. So again, I just don't know why the NFL keeps throwing two double Monday night games. Give me all the international games you want. It's fine. I can watch football all day long, but stop the two Monday night games. Yeah. You're just killing me. And I don't think I'm alone with that. Any final words on this game?
No, just I'm still waiting for the game. Chicago comes out and makes me a believer in what they're trying to do.
I want to believe in them, right?
Yeah, right.
Chicago's been a long-suffering franchise now for a while. I mean, it's like 85 Bears. I'm like, 85 Bears aren't walking through that door anymore. We got to develop a whole new team. I'm tired of hearing can't get a 4,000-yard passer ever in the Bears history. Let's break those things. It feels like almost the Cubs when they broke the curse and got to the World Series and won and everything was great. And I feel like that, I think Ben Johnson will be the one that breaks the curse. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know if it'll be this year, but I think after this bye is going to tell us a lot on where that franchise is going.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Matt, we're done.
You guys are. Before you guys go, though, it's heading into week 6 of NFL. What do you like for the Super Bowl? I know as we get enough film on these teams, we kind of get into the Super Bowl talk, and why not start it off now?
Yeah. Sticks, I got to put you on the spot, man.
This early in the season, I just have to put out there what I want to see. Yeah. And I want to see Tampa and Pittsburgh in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
This year the Super Bowl and next year the draft in Pittsburgh. So let's make it Pittsburgh's year.
My two teams that I put in the Super Bowl this year before the season, I picked Philly to play against Baltimore. And Baltimore and Lamar to finally get the monkey off his back and win this year. I am not going to abandon Baltimore yet. But I think I'm going to jump ship with Philly. It feels like this is one of those years where they don't have the offensive coordinator right, and I don't think Nick Sirianni can step in and fill that role. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's a play caller, and it just feels like that they're sinking right now, and they just haven't got an identity. It's a whole different team. I don't like they don't have any structure on offense. I don't like their play calling. I don't like anything about it, even though I like all the players. They're just not the same team this year. Jalen Hurts is bottom 5 in the league at throwing passes 10 yards down the field or more, and that's what they're trying to make him do. And Kellen Moore last year, they tried to make him pass all last year. Then the bye, they're like, nope, we'll run the ball. All of a sudden, they became this winning franchise. Maybe they can do it this year. No, I'm not going to give up on Philly yet. I'm going to stick with Philly. Go with Philly and Baltimore, and then have Baltimore win it all. I'm gonna still stick with those predictions, but Tampa is certainly making me a believer. I just feel like that Tampa's defense is going to be their liability in the playoffs, because again, this flash is great and it'll help them win some regular season games, but the playoffs are a whole different deal. Typically, teams that are top 5 and running the ball, teams that are top 5 and stopping the run, those are teams that do well in the playoffs. And I'm going to stick with that, even though I don't know that Baltimore is going to be one of those teams yet. We'll see if they make some trades at the deadline, because they got to find somebody to replace Matabuke. But the track record tells me Harbaugh can turn that around. I think they can. Will they? I don't know. Maybe neither one of these teams make it. But to my point earlier, halfway through the show, I would love to see Indianapolis and Tampa in the Super Bowl. I think, to me, that would be fantastic. Would love to see that. But Matt, that's what we think, man.
Good stuff. Well, I got nothing else on my end. So,
okay, guys. Hey, thanks for sticking with us, man. We ran an hour and a half, but this is so much fun. We love it. We missed you guys the past couple of weeks, but kind of life happens and gets in the way. This should be a fun weekend, and as always, lots of money to be made. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We're always grateful to have you. And we'll see you Saturday morning for Lock and Live and Sunday morning for Lock and Live as well. And we're going to make some money this weekend. For Sticks, for Matt, who hosts and produces the show, I'm Uncle Phil. Thanks for tuning in. As always, guys, let's roll.